Here are two statements that will be hard for most people to grasp and understand. 1, everyone will use and own digital assets and NFTs on the blockchain. And 2, blockchain is not the internet. Hello, I'm cryptocasey, and in this video, we are going to explore the difference between the internet and blockchain, how and why all of us will own digital assets on blockchain networks, and why this tech revolution that is underway will change the world forever. This video was inspired by a keynote speech by Gary Vaynerchuk the other day, so be sure to give him a follow on his official social media platforms for more great content. This video is brought to you by NordVPN, a virtual private network service that protects our data while we're online. More on them in a bit. Awesome. Let's get ahead of the curve together by understanding the implications blockchain technology has on the future of society. No matter if you own a business or a freelancer, work for someone else, or a student, or aren't working at all, we all have one thing in common. We all at some level are competing for and trading attention similar to the way we compete for and trade currency. In our work lives, public lives, and private lives, a lot of things we do, want to do, or need to do involve getting the attention of someone else. You want people to work for you? Are you trying to hire talent? You need to get their attention first. Are you trying to get a job, work for someone else, or get clients? You need to get their attention first. You want someone to join your social club? You need to get their attention first. You want someone to donate to your nonprofit? Attention. You want people to get involved with your social cause, your church, your frat, your sorority? Attention. You're looking for a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or just new friends in general? Attention. You want people to buy your product or service? Attention. Nice. Now that we understand that attention, though intangible, can be an asset and have value in and of itself, next, let's explore the past two technological revolutions so we can understand the upcoming blockchain revolution. The internet came around in the late 1990s, and during that time, a ton of tech companies popped up, a lot went public, and quickly gained valuations in the billions of dollars range, likely equivalent to trillions these days, all without having generated revenues, without having any assets, or having viable products and services to sell. So investors knew the internet was going to be a big deal, but it was unclear how it was going to be used. The tech was very new and largely undeveloped. Most people had heard of the internet, but they didn't know how to access the internet. And a lot of people just wrote it off saying no one would use it because it was useless. However, after enough time elapsed, development happened, the industry matured, and now it has vastly changed the world and life as we know it. Along the way, 99% of all the tech startups from the 90s failed, and the small 1%, like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, prevailed. This is extremely similar to where we are in the crypto markets. Tons of projects have raised money despite not generating revenue, having no assets, and having no viable products or services. Much like people not knowing how to access the internet, many people have heard of blockchain, but they don't know how to use a wallet to interact with the blockchain. And although the evolution between no internet to Web 1 will be and is similar to our future transition to Web 3, blockchain is not the internet. A lot of people don't understand blockchain because they are applying internet concepts to a technology that is not the internet. Blockchain is a technology. But before we jump into Web 1 internet adoption to future Web 3 blockchain adoption, there was a second revolution that happened in the mid-2000s, social media. When Facebook and Twitter came out, no one believed that products and services would be sold on them. No one believed that they would be able to generate revenue. And what happened less than a decade later? Social media became the global infrastructure of communication between us all. It's how we all communicate and how we are competing for, fighting for, and trading our attention. And all of this attention and communication is currently centralized between about 10 different platforms like TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, dating apps, etc. Now what people thought were going to be useless websites a small group of people would play around on has garnered enough power that people think it could undermine governments, democracies, and traditional social structures as we know it. The way that social media changed the world will be similar to how blockchain will change the world, because blockchain will change not only how we connect and communicate with each other, but also how we transact with each other, verify ownership of assets, transfer assets. Things will greatly undermine governments, traditional social structures, traditional business structures, and the global financial system at large. The same way that hardly anyone used QR codes 10 years ago, to now having to use it to look at a restaurant menu or get on an airplane, is the same way we will go from hardly anyone using NFTs to everyone using NFTs. And the reason is simple. QR code is better technology, and consumers will always choose things that eliminate friction. Blockchain digital assets and NFTs are better technology. It's just still a bit early in the development phase, the same as the early internet technology days, which is great for us because if we missed the 90s tech boom, and if we also missed the latest social media boom, we know what we missed. We have the history to base this next revolution off of, and if you're watching this video, you now know it's coming. This is our generational once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to build and invest in the new world. Sure, the first iteration of NFTs was art in the form of JPEGs, but if you look back at the history of art, one of the first major innovations in that industry was the canvas. An artist back then said, art on canvas isn't real art. It's only considered art if it's on a building. Look how far we've come now. Art is all kinds of things, on all kinds of mediums, the internet, and most recently, blockchain. And yes, just like with the dawn of the internet, 99% of all the NFT projects and cryptocurrencies that exist will go to zero. We've been talking about this fact on the channel for months now. We've got to stop asking ourselves which crypto we can buy now to sell to someone else later for a higher price. It's not sustainable. We need to be asking ourselves which NFT and crypto projects will become a viable entity that generates revenue by creating value for the world in the form of a good or a service or similar. And honestly, more importantly, we should be asking ourselves how we can increase our income streams, build our knowledge and skills, monetize ourselves by creating value in the world, and ultimately getting into powerful positions before this paradigm shift is in full swing. You can check out this video guide I made by clicking on the link above about the few easy steps we can take to start getting into these powerful positions for the new emerging world, where everyone will interact and transact with each other directly on the blockchain at full scale. Cool. Let's explore why the timing right now is so perfect for us, why blockchain, NFTs, and digital assets will be used by everyone in the future, and what we should all be doing now to prepare. Before jumping into it, a quick note about NordVPN. As a crypto investor, using a VPN is an easy, effective, and important way we can all further protect ourselves and our investments. VPN, or virtual private networks, prevent people, companies, and software apps from watching and tracking your online activity, which as a crypto investor can protect you when you're connected to public networks, as some hackers have ways to steal your data when connected to public networks. My personal favorite VPN provider is NordVPN. And if you use the link below in the description area, NordVPN is offering us their 2-year plan at a 70% discount with 1 month completely free, so you can check it out. This works out to only about $3.70 per month, the price of a cup of coffee, or probably less than that at this point with inflation, with the benefits of protecting your privacy and your crypto investments. It's extremely easy to set up and very user-friendly, which is great whether you are a new or experienced person in technology. You can pay for NordVPN services in both fiat or cryptocurrency, so be sure to scroll down to the description area below to redeem their offer. Cool. So back when Web 1 and Web 2 were being developed and ushered in, only venture capitalists and startup companies got a great piece of the pie early on. We as consumers ultimately used and paid for the products and services that came from the tech revolutions. This time around, with Web 3, is much different. We are here in crypto, we are aware of the implications the technology has on society, finance, the world at large, and the nature of the technology is such that a peer-to-peer infrastructure is emerging that will empower individuals instead of governments and Wall Street. Sure, crypto got crazy hot. People were greedy and doing anything for money in this space, from scamming, rug pulling, borrowing money, lending money, gambling money. And this recent correction has cleaned out a lot of the garbage. Yes, there is more garbage to shake out, but that is great for us because it gives us more time to build knowledge, build cash reserves, create a plan of action for our own unique path to financial freedom. This is our chance to experience generational wealth. And those of us that build, understand the technology, understand business, and can ultimately see what the consumer will be doing over the next decade or so, will be in a very powerful position. A lot of us got into the crypto space back in 2015 and 2016. I started this channel in 2017. And yes, it was early. No one cared about crypto. It took forever to get 100 subscribers. It took years to reach 1,000, and longer to get the channel monetized. Also back then, there were just random cryptocurrencies, and as far as NFTs were concerned, there were just CryptoKitties. All that project managed to do was bring down the Ethereum network for a bit. At the end of the day, it was too early. The timing wasn't there. We needed these past 5 years to build. And now the timing is very good as investors in this space, because the consumer aspect of crypto where we finally have entities and people providing valuable goods and services for the world, is almost ready, which is why it's the perfect time to plan and position ourselves to secure a large market share of this new era of consumerism before it explodes. If you follow the weekly news series on this channel, tons of money is pouring into the space despite the bear market and overall terrible macro environment. So what should we be doing now? We've discussed ideas in previous videos, which you can check out in my bear market survival playlist by clicking on the link above. Just know this is the perfect time to get curious, get to work, build our knowledge, watch these videos, Google search other videos on the topic, and create a plan that involves building and operating within Web 2.5 as it continues to evolve into Web 3. Everything in the future will be on the blockchain in the form of NFTs. Money, airline tickets, concert tickets, college degrees, certifications, licenses, birth certificates, marriage certificates, legal contracts, memberships, rewards cards, access to places and events, supply chain information, credit history, school grades, adoption records, real estate deeds, car titles, passports. Why? Because blockchain, digital assets, and NFTs are not about JPEGs of apes. It's about technology and its future relationship with consumer behavior. Let that sink in, get curious about it, do your own research, and get to work. Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell notification to stay up to date on all of the latest videos. So how do you feel about the idea of everyone using NFTs in the future? What other creative ways do you see NFTs being used in the future? How are you going to take advantage of this information arbitrage before this blockchain revolution is in full swing? Let me know in the comments below. Be safe out there.